Julian, notice that the peanut M&Ms are wedged right after the kids. It's like, kids. There's always a big jar sitting on my desk because I love peanut M&Ms, and they're a great reward system. You scratch something off your to-do list, ding, you get an M&M. So I highly recommend it. I'm thrilled to be here and talk about a topic that I think is a happy topic, and that is talking about flourishing. So let me start out. Let me share. So this is Harold and Marge. So Harold and Marge, they live in Minnesota. And on this particularly icy winter, like Midwest is having right now, they decided to get out of Dodge and to go celebrate 50 years of marriage and go fly down to Florida where it's warm and sunny. But their schedules didn't line up. So Harold, he had to fly down on Friday, and Marge had to fly down the next day on Saturday. So Harold flies down, gets to the hotel where they spent their honeymoon 50 years earlier. And he checks in, and wow, things have changed, and remodeled. He goes into his room, and he decides to send his wife an email. So he sends the email, and he doesn't realize that he left out one letter in her email address. And without realizing his error, he sends the email, and meanwhile, in Houston, this widow had just returned home from her husband's funeral, and he was a pastor in the church. So she comes in, she sits down, gets ready to check her email. She opens it up, she reads the first email, she screams, she passes out, her son rushes into the room to find out what is going on. He looks at the screen and it says, "I've arrived." He says, "Hello, honey, I know you're surprised to hear from me. They have computers here now and you're allowed to send emails to your loved ones. I've just arrived and been checked in. I see that everything has been prepared for your arrival tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing you then. Hope your journey is as uneventful as mine was. P.S. It sure is freaking hot down here. Love you, honey." Now why? Tell me why? Why would I start a presentation with something that makes you smile, that makes you laugh? What does it do? What it does, and I start all my classes this way, the same way as I start with, first, the good news minute. The good news minute, all my classes, what are the good news? What's going on in your lives? And they'll shout out things, it's my birthday, or I'm going home this weekend, or I just broke up with my boyfriend. And we're like, oh, yeah. So we cheer, and then I share something with them that makes them smile, a laugh, YouTube clip, something funny, because I know that happiness, when you smile, it releases dopamine, and it turns on all the learning centers in the brain. So if you want students to learn, you get them happy. Right there, you capture them. So starting off with something that is funny, that makes them smile, that is engaging, is critical for learning. So flourishing individuals. There's so much research that has exploded on this, and I'll share some of my favorite apps and favorite books that are related to this topic. And that basically says that almost every indicator in the business world continues to show that when employees are happy, they're more productive, they're more engaged. Businesses are profitable when their employees are happy, when they're flourishing. It spills over into other areas of their life. So happiness, this idea of flourishing first, spills over into other areas of our lives. So a happy brain. What are some of the advantages? We know from the research that happy brains are about 3 times as creative as unhappy or neutral brains. We're about 31% more productive. How many would you love to be more productive in their work? Turn on the happiness and the positivity, tilt toward that, and it turns on, again, all those learning centers in the brain. Energy rises, creativity rises, all of this intelligence rises when we are happy. The happy first. The previous model is broken, and that was, if I work really hard, and then I'll be successful, and then I'll get to be happy. Whether it's in parenting, if I work really hard as a parent, then I'll be successful, then I'm happy. At work, same thing. Work really hard, I'll be successful. I'll get tenure, and then I'll be happy. But that's a broken system. So new neuroscience and positive psychology says it works the other way around. When we're happy first and we flourish first, then it spills over into the other outcomes of success. So here's an amazing study, again, that shows the amazing effects of positivity. So what they did is they gave these newspapers to these volunteers who come in for this study. And first they divided the volunteers into those who felt like, they knew beforehand, they had them complete a survey, those who felt like that they were lucky and positive, good things tend to happen to them, and then those who were pessimists, who didn't feel like they were lucky, and good things didn't happen to them. So they knew this beforehand. They gave them the newspaper and they said, count how many photographs are in this newspaper. And if you get it right, we'll give you $5. So those who were more the negative, the pessimists, who didn't feel like good things happened to them, they took on average about 2 minutes. They'd flip through and they found 43 photographs and they turned it in, they got their $5. It turns out that on page 2, in big 2-inch letters, it says, stop the study. There are 43 photographs and turn this in. Now, they didn't see it. Those who were positive, it took them an average of about 5 seconds. They flipped, they'd read that, and they turned it in and said, is this right? Yep, and they give $50. So it was those, when we're positivity, it literally expands us. It's called the broaden and build theory, that when we're positive, we can see more. Now, they went back and actually looked at their eyes. Those who were negative, they did see it. They saw it, but it didn't register in their brains because they skipped over it because of the negativity. And when we're stressed out and negative and pessimistic, then we don't see as much opportunity in our lives. So what are some barriers to positivity? There's all kinds of barriers. When we're, the acronym HALT, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Have you heard of that? Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. When we're sick, when we're stressed out, all of this brings us down and actually turns us inward. And we're born with 5 times as many neurons, brain cells, that are wired for negativity and threat for every one that is wired for positivity and opportunity. So already we have this negativity bias, and negativity stands out to us. All kinds of barriers. One of those in our day is what? Technoference. Brandon McDaniel, good friend and colleague of mine, he actually coined the term technoference. It's when technology interferes with our relationships and with our happiness. So for example, the Schramm fam, we went to San Diego this past November for a conference. I took the Schramm fam, we went out to a Mexican restaurant, had yummy food, and lo and behold, while we sit down, and what did I see? This table right next to us. There's a dad, what's he doing? He's on his phone, the son, we're having this little date, this experience. Now this wasn't just a quick check my phone, I sat there and watched this. For minutes at a time, he's scrolling and scrolling. The son ate his whole dessert without talking to his dad. They got up, they left. Who sat down? A couple. They sit down, exact same table. Like, what the corn? What is going on? Is this cursed, this table? And they're on their phones as well. So technoference interferes with happiness. The more time spent on electronic social media, we're finding after a certain point, boom, then the happiness decreases. And anxiety and depression increases. So how much stress? This is a great question about stress. Stress is one of those barriers that gets in the way of happiness, isn't it? We're really stressed out. Then we can't focus. We can't see anything that's happy. Raise your hand in this room if you experienced a lot of stress in 2018, in the year 2018. Raise them high. How many of you, be honest, experienced a lot of stress? Yeah. So maybe a third or more experienced a lot of stress in this room. So this was a study of 30,000 adults. They followed them for 8 years, and they asked them several questions, one of which was, how much stress did you experience in the past year? Those who experienced a lot, who said, I experienced a lot of stress, experienced a 43% increased risk of dying the following year. Now, that doesn't mean that 43% of you who just raised your hand, sorry, yeah, you won't be back for the lunch and learn. Yeah, so we'll see this continue to diminish the attendance here because you won't be here next year. No, that's not what that's saying. This was only true for those who also said, do you believe stress is harmful for your health? Those who strongly agreed, and they say, oh yeah, stress is just killing me in my heart and just wears me down. Who experienced the lowest risk of dying? Those who experienced a lot of stress but did not believe that stress is harmful to your body. What? What is that? So what does that mean? It means that about 20,000 deaths per year are due not to stress, but from believing that stress is harmful to your body. Isn't that fascinating? It kills more people than HIV. It kills more people than homicides in the U.S. It's believing that stress, the 15th leading cause of death. So what does that mean? It means that when you change your mind about stress, you can actually change your body's response to stress. I think that's pretty fascinating. When you experience stress, pause and just notice it and say, wow, this is my body preparing me to engage in this task. Taking some deep breaths, engage the oxygen, the prefrontal cortex of your mind to be able to focus. So that's a lesson I think that we can learn. What contributes to happiness? Now this happiness pie, it's been kind of debated as of late as far as what percents lead to what, but approximately half of all of our happiness is inherited. You can blame mom and dad for your levels of happiness, but only about 50%. The other 50%, it's related to 10% our circumstances, and this one is fascinating to me. Rich or poor, no matter what you drive, the type of job, if you work here, you work at another university, you work whatever that is, we get used to our circumstances. It's only about 10% of our circumstances influence our happiness, whereas about 40% is our thoughts and our actions, things that we have control over, things that we get to choose how happy we are. And I'll share some of those happy hacks with you here shortly. So happiness is not inherent. Well, about 50%, Sean Acor, of that is inherited. The other 40% is up to us. So circumstances, let's say that you lose your job, heaven forbid, in here, right? We lose our job. There are things that we can do to adapt to that. All of us will adapt to that. We can speed that process up, that adaptation. We can adapt to losing our jobs by talking with other colleagues and searching for other jobs, talking with friends and family, reaching out for support. So we can speed the process of adaptation up. We can also slow that down. We could say, oh man, this is useless. I'm just going to sit home and watch, I don't know if you can see that very well, watch TV and Netflix and just veg out. That slows the process of adaptation down when negative things happen to us, our circumstances. It's very interesting. The opposite, we don't talk about hardly ever, and that is when positive things happen to us, what do we do to speed that up or actually slow down a positive experience? Now, there are things we can do. We can actually take some time. Research shows it takes between 10, 20, or 30 seconds to just live in the moment, absorb it, enrich it, think about it. Right? Those tasks that you have on your to-do list, we get such in a hurry, we scratch it off, or someone says, wow, you look really nice today. Oh, thank you, and then we move on. But if you actually paused and that positive mental state to turn into a positive neural trait, to actually lodge it in your brain, takes a little bit of time. It takes between 10 to 20 seconds of actually absorbing it, staying in the moment. So the next time you're doing something, you feel like, wow, this is really great. I love this. Or I'm fishing with my child, or something, a phone call, or a compliment, or you accomplish something. Don't rush on to the next thing. Pause just for a few seconds and absorb it. Live in it. Enrich it. And absorb in that moment. We call it savor, savoring that moment for a minute, and then we're more likely to actually enrich it and install it in our brains. So we know, right? We know things, these facts and things that happen, but now we need to take time to feel it, and that is different than knowing that something good happens and actually feeling the effect of something positive happening. So we have to get better at this side of the equation. In fact, Rick Hansen, he says, I love this quote, it's good to get good at taking in the good. Isn't that good? Yeah, isn't that great? I love that quote. It's good to get good at taking in the good and absorbing the good because we're wired to focus on the negative. In fact, I can prove it. You go in with your advisor and they talk about all these wonderful things for 28 minutes in your annual review, and they're going on, and they say, wow, actually, before you leave, Adri, what we need to do, we really need you to work on this. And they say one negative thing. When you leave there, what are you going to be focusing on? It's that one negative thing, isn't it? Or your child comes home with a report card, they've got 5 A's and a C minus. Where does your brain go? Immediately the C minus. Same thing with Christmas lights. And one's out, that dang bulb that's out. What do you notice? If it's your own Christmas, you're like, oh man, it's the stinking bulb. Green grass, and there's a patch of brown. We can go on and on. We're wired to focus on the negative stuff that our partners do, the negative stuff that our kids do. We're absorbed by it. We're fascinated by it. We jump right on it. So our brains, they receive about 11 million pieces of information every second. But we can only process, research shows, about 40 bits per second. Now, have you ever driven in a snowstorm when all that's, right, snow, and you put it in at nighttime and you've put on the brights? What does that look like? Just all this. That's like our brains, really, with all this information coming at us. So while you're looking up here, and you look up at the screen, there are all these other information that's coming back that's really processed through our subconscious. You know, I'm hungry, or I need to text someone, or I need to use the bathroom, and all of this is coming at us, but we can only focus on 40 bits, and I'll prove it. Everyone think about your right toe, your right big toe right now. Now wiggle it. Okay, you weren't thinking about that a second ago, right? Because our brains can only focus on 40 bits. So our brains are pretty cool. But when I saw this, I was like, man, our brains are nothing, right? 11 million pieces of information, we can only process 40 bits. But when I learned this, it was that big aha moment. Because what does that mean? It means we have to choose what we focus on and what to dismiss or ignore. But again, we're wired for threats. Somebody's phone goes off in here. Where does everybody's brain go for even a split second? Right to there, maybe it's yours. You're like, oh man, is mine off? We're wired for the negative. So your reality really is a choice. And that big aha moment for me was, wow, I get to choose. Now, it doesn't mean that bad things won't happen and negative things don't happen. I'm not even going to worry about the negative. Of course, bad things happen. But when people say, Dr. Dave, why are you so stinking happy? I look at them and I smile and I say, 40 bits, man, 40 bits. They're like, what the heck are you talking about? And then I get to explain this. The trade-off is this. I can think about negatives, but if all my 40 bits are consumed with a negative, what does that mean? It means I can't see the positive stuff my kids are doing or my partner's doing or the good things that are going on in my office because I'm so wired for and anticipating and looking for when my teenager comes in the door. My heart rate goes up. I have 3 teenage daughters. Oh, there, that was it. That was it. Anyone else have 3 teenage daughters? My heart rate gets up because, okay, here it goes. Or I can choose to change my mindset and to focus on the 40 bits. I have a good friend, Wally Goddard. Some of you know Wally. He had cancer, bladder cancer, had his bladder removed. Now he has his bladder he wears it under his pants. He went through this all these treatments. He had 18 infections, bladder infections in a year. Do the math on that. How does all that happen? And yet, Wally was the epitome of this. He'd send in his emails, close friends and family, things like, oh, you know, this week is really rough and I got really sick, but man, I've got so much hose in me, I'm going to save it all for my garden. I can't imagine what I could do watering my garden. He was able to focus his 40 bits on the good stuff still. So everyone, hold out your finger. Go like this. Okay, that's a finger curl. Okay, all right, that's enough. So this study is one of my favorite studies of all time. So they had groups come in. The first group, they come in, they pull the lever that measures how much their finger strength is in this lab. They pull the lever, and then they're instructed, all right, you need to do finger curls for 15 minutes a day for 12 weeks. You're like, man, what have I got myself into? Can you imagine going home? You're like, honey, what are you doing? Oh, finger curls for this stupid study. Yeah, or group 2, I think this was worse. They come in, they pull the lever, they're instructed, all right, go home, 15 minutes a day, 12 weeks. You can't finger curl, you got to visualize your finger curls. So now you're home and you're against the wall and your sweetie's like, honey, what are you doing? Finger curls. Like, okay. Group 3, they come in, they pull the lever. They're instructed not to do anything. They don't know about the study. So then they all come back. 12 weeks later, what is the result? Group 1, a 53% increase in finger strength. Can you imagine walking around? Look at these sausages, man. You know, it's like, dude, what happened to your finger? It's finger curls, man. You should try it. Yeah, don't volunteer for these kinds of studies, right? Don't do it. No matter what they're paying, don't do it. Group 3, the ones that didn't know about it, they come in, pull the lever again, no increase. Group 2, those who visualized it, 35% increase in finger strength. What does that mean? It means you can forget your gym pass and all you have to do is visualize. Just think about it, right? I'm going to quit my job at the university. Wait, don't. No, not really. And open up a gym with no equipment. And just come on in. Walk out. Take a look at this. But what does it really mean? It means thinking about exercise activates the same area of the brain as real exercise. Now, some of you are like, Dr. Dave, I'll bet some of the group 2 are doing a little bit of this action on the side. So they did another study with men's biceps, and they put them in a cast with curls, with weights, and they found similar results. So they couldn't cheat, even if they wanted to. Isn't that amazing? Think about Olympic athletes and athletes all over. Last year, about this time, was the Olympics. How many times do you think those in the bobsled or the luge or gymnastics, how many times did they do the routine in their head before they even landed in Olympic Village? Oh, that path in their brain was so strong before they even actually went down the real thing because they went through it over and over in their brains. The same thing can happen when you tilt toward the good and you're looking for the positive, you'll find the positive. If you want to be more compassionate, then you practice compassion. If you want to be more kind, you practice kindness. If you want to be more positive, you practice positivity. It's the real deal, and it strengthens this in your brains. So here's a positivity pyramid. When I talk and I share, up here, in all of our, right, there's going to be some correction. There's going to be, I've been corrected many times from this crew over here, things like, things that I didn't do or didn't get it on time. Correction. Underneath that is teaching. When we do a good job of teaching, there's less correct, I still need to be corrected. But when we are aware of it, then there's correction less. Underneath that, relationships. The relationships with your colleagues, relationships with your partner, relationships with your children. The principle is this. Everybody think in your mind somebody that just annoys the heck out of you, that really bugs you. Does everyone have that person, just the way that they are, just that annoying personality, their voice, the way they talk, whatever it is. Everyone have that person? Now imagine that person comes up and tries to correct you or to teach you something. So actually, what you need to do here is, and I tried to, how open are you to their correction and their teaching if you can't stand the person? Honestly. Yeah, you're not. When they leave, you roll your eyes, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do it the other way just on purpose, just to take me out. That's what we do, right? Because when the relationship is not there, you can forget about any kind of teaching. Same thing with students in the classroom. You have some kind of a personality and you're in there and you're engaged. And people will listen to you when they like you. Plain and simple. The same thing holds with parenting. So much of the parenting books, it's like 101 ways to time out. What do I do when things go wrong and how to control my teenager? It's so much is from the top down instead of the bottom up. Underneath this, relationships is, that's right, we're talking about it today. Being a happy, positive person. People love to hang out with happy, positive people, right? How many of you just love to hang around ornery, critical, pessimistic, annoying people? No, none of us do on a Friday night. No. It's positive, positivity, positive, happy people. So here's some happy hacks. 21 days, try. Don't try all these, but try, honestly try one or more of these. One, just try one. The next 21 days. Why 21 days? Okay, yeah, we've heard that. It takes time to build a habit. Now underneath that, actually the research shows, why 21 days? Because every 21 days, most of the cells in the human body are regenerating. The tongue are some of the fastest, femur some of the slowest. And so when you actually start a habit, it literally becomes part of your cellular structure. You want to become positive down into your cells, you start doing it. So it encodes it into you. So 21 days ago, none of you are the same. 21 days from now, no cell from the hair follicle to your skin will be the same. So when you start to do something, you actually ingrain it into the very being of who you are at the cellular level. That's why it's 21 days. I think that's pretty cool. So journaling, how many of you journal? There's been research studies on this now, right? It was journaling, everyone keep a journal, but now the science has caught up with this and they say, yeah, when you get to relive, it allows your brain to relive and experience the last 24 hours and you jot it down, it cements it in your brain. So when you think about something that's great that has happened, you get to jot it down. The same things when you talk about it. You talk about it in your offices, you talk. If you talk about the positive, good things, in the Schramm fam, similar in journals, my wife has a 5-year journal, like one line, can't remember what it's called. 5-year journals, you can Amazon it. And it's 5 years on one page. So it's like February 5th, 2019, 2018, 2017, she's on the 4th year of it. So she can look back. Every night my wife will say, oh my gosh, it was a year ago that did it, or 2 years ago that did it, or 3 years, right there. Isn't that awesome? And we get to relive it at nighttime. She's sitting in bed, she's doing her journal, I'm doing mine. We get to relive that. So journaling, it's an amazing, amazing way to increase the positivity. Gratitude. This one in my mind is one of the strongest. As I've looked at the research in this area, it's being able to focus on and pay attention to the small little things and being grateful for them. The research just blows me away. This is only the tip of the iceberg. And the research on gratitude, tilting toward the positive. If you want a great app for it, the 5-Minute Journal app. Probably it's on my home screen. Your home screen has your favorite apps. Yeah, mine is right there on my favorite all-time apps. I've been doing it since April pretty faithfully. I've only missed a day or two, and then I've gone back. What it does is it starts at 8 a.m. I get a little notification, and it says, let's start the day, 3 things that you're grateful for. And if you do this, and not just write down my family, my dog, breakfast, but if you actually think about and focus on 3 new and specific, can't be the same things, 3 new and specific things, and you do it for 21 days, you will have all this positivity, this gratitude that's flowing through you, and you'll be able to see more things. 3 things that you're grateful for. At the end of the day, at 9 p.m., it pops up, a little reminder. It says, what amazing things happened today? And then I get to take time to journal. I love the app. Some people like handwriting. I love this app because I get to take one picture as well. In real journals, you can't do that. In scrapbooks, you can. But I get to then look back and scroll through, and as soon as I see a picture, immediately my mind is taken back to that day, and I remember exactly what happened. So I don't only get to read about it, but then I get to see it, of what happened that day, the thing that I want to remember. So I love this. I love this app. In the Schramm fam, another way of doing this is we have our happy thought. At the end of the day, we get together in our family, we have a family prayer, and then I say one thing that I'm grateful for, one thing that made me happy that day, and then my wife goes, and then each of our children go in turn, and they talk about one thing that made them happy that day, one thing that they're grateful, one thing that went well. You can do it at dinner time, at nighttime, morning time. But what do you think that does? One of the last things they remember and talking about before they go to bed is one thing that made them happy. And then we get to learn about their day as well. My son just said the other day, Dad, it was awesome. I went out and I got all of the balls, from recess, and I gathered them all in, and I helped the teacher. I said, that's awesome, but how'd that make you feel? Then we got to talk about the good things. And that releases, again, dopamine, cements it in their brain. So finding opportunities to be grateful and talk about the good stuff that's going on. Another great TED Talk that you need to listen to if you haven't seen this one by David Steindl-Ross. He says, in daily life, we must see that it is not happiness that makes us grateful, but gratefulness that makes us happy. I love that. That's why I think you work on gratitude, not so much on, I just want to be happy. What can I do to make me happy? Just pause and forget about happiness and be still and be grateful. I love this one. He goes on, gratefulness is the key to a happy life that we hold in our hands. Because if we're not grateful, no matter how much we have, we will not be happy. Because we will always want to have something else or something more. Oh, man, that's profound. That is like Instagram worthy, isn't it? You should post that. Being grateful for what you have. Because you can never have enough of what you don't need, because what you don't need will never satisfy you. It'll never satisfy. The things that you don't need will never satisfy you because you can never get enough of it if it's not a need. Smiling, everybody smile. Okay, that was fake. Okay, yeah, there. Your real smile releases dopamine. Some of you are familiar with the 10-5 rule. When you're within 10 feet of somebody, you smile. When you're within 5 feet, you say hello. The Ritz-Carlton hotel chain, they're the first ones that came up with this, or they claim that all their employees, they're in the hall or they're at the desk. When you pass a guest in the hotel, you smile within 10 feet. Within 5 feet, you're greeting them. You're saying, good morning. How are you, ma'am? How's your day going? They talk. Walmart now has greeters. But have you noticed? Some of them are not doing their job, man. Next time, you'd be like, I know, you need to be smiling. I know why you're standing right here, right? You need to be greeting people and saying hi. That's their purpose. The 10-5 rule, so smiling and more. What do you see when you first, what's your reaction when you first see that? I know, it is, right? We have mirror neurons inside of our brains, and when we see something like that, immediately the neurons in your brain say, oh, and they smile, don't we? Now, it's not the same for all smiles. Like, that one doesn't do quite as much as the other one, so get rid of that one. So not all smiles are created equal, but those smiles bring a smile to our face. Now, how many in this room, raise your hand if you think that you smile at least 20 times per day, honestly. Okay, yeah, pretty happy group. Some of you are a little grumpier than others, need to work on that. Research shows only about 1/3 of us, of adults, smile at least 20 times per day. 14% of us smile less than 5 times per day. It's like, man, you're not going to live very long if you're not engaging in life and have something to smile and be happy about. Kids, how much do they smile? One study showed as much as 400 times per day. They're just like happy all the time. Yeah, the greatest cause of unhappiness is us, right? We're getting after them. They're just living life and having a great time and so happy. In fact, a smile produces dopamine, and a British study showed that one smile can produce as much happiness as, get rid of that one again, 2,000 bars of chocolate. What? What? And you don't get all the calories, man. So just smile and give someone else the chocolate bar. You're like, yeah. Yep. 2,000 bars of chocolate, it releases as much dopamine as one genuine great smile. So we have to smile. Simple little habits. These are freebies. These are things we can do all the time. Just live your life this way. What about positivity and longevity? There's an amazing study at Mills College, and these women, 114 of their pictures, age 27, and then they followed them for 30 years. So 27, 43, 52, and then a 57. So they followed them, and just from their pictures in their yearbook, they found out some things. They found out that those who were smiling and had big, genuine smiles were happier, lived longer, fewer health problems, lower levels of mental health, of anxiety and depression at every level, just from their smile. They did another study with baseball cards. They looked at 150 baseball player photographs from 1952, and they found, man, is there something to this? And they looked at those. There's some of those who are kind of like a genuine smile, some of those that are the fake, the stewardess on the airlines, they have to pretend like they're smiling. Yeah, buckle up, and all that stuff. Yeah, that's not a real smile. That doesn't release the dopamine. And then those who are just kind of grumpy gusses. And they followed them. It turns out that no smile, on average, age 72. Small smile, fake one, 75. Full smile, age 80. Isn't that fascinating? Yeah. Now, it doesn't mean if I smile, I'll live longer. I think it's part of who we are, that this is who they are, that they engage in those things. They find meaning and happiness in the small things in life. So another one, exercise, right? But what did we learn about exercise so far today? If you've only learned one thing today, you've learned, you just have to think about it, man. Just think about exercise. No, real exercise is one of the most important things you can do for your body and for your own happiness. This morning today, 20 minutes on the elliptical. I have a little workout and put on my ear pods and listen to TED Talks, and I get that exercise in because it is so much for real exercise. Lowers depression. And he said, I just read another study, real study, that showed that they had three groups. One that had those who had major depressive disorders. One that had medication and exercise, and another one that just had exercise. They all, after 4 months, you saw improvements. After 6 months, they started to see relapse. 38% relapse for those that just had the antidepressant. 31% relapse in those that had the exercise and the antidepressant. 8% relapse for those who just exercised. I was like, what? Yeah, real study that showed this. I think exercise is it can be so helpful in so many areas of our life. Diet, sleep, and the sleep studies out there are fascinating. We learn now more. Matt Killingsworth, I think, is the guru in this sleep area, Why We Sleep. He wrote a great book called Why We Sleep. And there he talks about a study of some undergraduate volunteers. So they volunteered and they looked at all these lists of these words. Then they gave them 8 hours of sleep. 8 hours of sleep, and they could recall about 81% of both the positive and the negative words. They had some neutral words in these lists. Those who had, and then they did another study, those who had only 5 hours of sleep showed that they could remember between 70 to 80% of the negative words, but only about 21% of the positive words. Isn't that interesting? Because when we lack sleep, we focus and dwell on more of the negativity. That is more, because the negative words they found are lodged more in the amygdala, limbic system. Positive words were more in the hippocampus. Short term, that's the area. So fascinating that when we lack our sleep, no wonder we're more ornery and irritable. They could only remember about 21% of the positive words. 81% of the negative words they could remember, they could recall. So these areas, happiness. Starting your day in a positive way. How many of you have a routine or you do something in the morning to start your day in a positive way? Yeah, good. That does not mean Facebook, right? Yeah, this is my positive way. One of the things that another study that they have done showed that as much as little as 3 minutes of negative news in the morning in this study showed that at the end of the day, they are 27% more likely to rate their day as a bad day with just 3 minutes of negative news. What you expose your mind to, your brain to, you're thinking about, talking about, first thing in the morning, really exposes you and kind of sets you on this trajectory for the rest of the day. So starting with mindful meditation or reading a book or saying prayer or whatever it is, your exercise, doing something positive. In fact, so I challenge students, and I challenge it, I call it text 2 before 10. If you can text 2 people before 10 a.m., something that is positive and genuine, a kindness, a love. In fact, we're going to do it right now. I know it's past 10 a.m. Everyone pull out your phones. You're going to send a text, if you have your phones with you, send a text right now. And it can be of love, hey, just thinking about you. It's not the, hey, I have to do this because I'm sitting in this boring lecture. No, text somebody something positive, something you're so grateful for, you appreciate, you love about them. Be specific. Think about who needs this from me right now today, and do it. Send somebody a text. And then by the end, if I forget, then let me know. I want to know how many of you received a text back. Now, some people are busy, your child's in school or something, and they can't. But you see what this does? If you text two people before 10 a.m. every day for 21 days, that's 42 people. Now, they've done this with other studies, and they've showed that not only are you happier and they're happier, but their social networks are broadened and then strengthened because of who you're reaching out to. So doing something kind and positive way to start your day. Wake up in the morning and be like, okay, who needs a text today, or who needs this email? It's gratitude, love, appreciation. But starting your day in a positive way can be powerful. Okay, discover and use your strengths. Discovering and using your strengths. This is another one of your challenge if you decide to accept it. Here is to go to VIA character. If you've not done this before, take some time to go there and to fill out this strength survey. So this is not Teen Magazine. What are your strengths? And no, this is Martin Seligman, the father of positive psychology, president of APA. This has been done for nearly 2 decades now, and he has all this data. If you complete that, it will kick out your 5 character strengths. And it's not like dancing and singing and all that kind of stuff. It's kindness and mercy and forgiveness, and the ability to love and be loved. Those are some of my 5. I printed out my 5 character strengths. I have my kids do this as well. Mine are right there at the bottom of my computer. I have my A numbers, and then I have my character strengths right there, my 5 character strengths. So do that. Discover those in your office. Share it. Say, hey, what did you do this? What are your 5? Do it with your partner. What are your 5 character strengths? Discover and use your strengths. We manage our weakness. The new mantra now, positive psychology, manage your weaknesses, use your strengths. Focus and use your strengths. So that is a great way to take some time, about 10 minutes, answer some questions, and it's pretty accurate about your 5 character strengths. Finding flow. Flow, for some people, is milking a cow for years and years. They just love that. Flow is that activity. Well, Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, he talked about it as that activity where you almost lose track of time. It's like entering in, I don't know, for the second, it's just sitting there and entering in all this data. Yeah, you just lose track of time. No, it's that opportunity where you lose yourself in it. It can be gardening. It can be, you can find flow up on the ski slopes. Today you're so immersed in it. It uses your gifts, your talents, your strengths in a great way. So Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, he says, a state in which people are so involved in an activity that nothing else seems to matter. The experience is so enjoyable that people will continue to do it, even at great cost, for sheer sake of doing it. So all of us need to find that state of flow, of what do you just absolutely love doing. You can immerse yourself in it. Athletes will call that getting into the zone. They can just go, and before, wow, 2 hours have gone by, and I've drawn, or I've played the piano, or I've done something that uses your strengths. So he talks about these best moments occurring in humans who are able to get that creativity that matches opportunity. You put those together and finding some time to immerse yourself in flow. It's where you can't think of really the stresses and the stuff that's going on because you're so immersed in something. And it uses all 40 bits of what you're thinking about, all that process right there in an activity. Digital measures, right? And you just get in there. No, that is not flow. Here, what else is not flow? Fortnite, that is not flow. I keep telling my son, Dad, I'm immersed in flow right now. I should have never have told him these things, right? Now it comes back to haunt me. No, that's not flow, son. Or engorging or just sleeping or vegging. Yeah, that is, I know hours can go by, but that's different when you're just sitting there and not really immersed using your strength. So that is not good. Meditation. This, in recent years, the research in this area is exploded, showing that actually 8 weeks of 20 minutes of meditation consistently can increase the thickness of the gray matter in your brain. Yeah, and that's the area that has with focus and attention and compassion. So if you feel like, man, I'm all over the place, compassion or mindfulness, meditation, yoga, all those types of things, be able to focus and just pay attention to your breathing. And some of you are like, I have no time for that. Then just do 1 minute. 1 minute and just pay attention to your breathing and nothing else. Just big, deep breaths. Just focus on that for a second and nothing else. You'll find that your mind wanders, especially at first, but slowly bringing it back to this. In fact, our mind wanders so much, about 47% of the time, our mind wanders. So when you're engaged in an activity, 47% of the time, you're thinking about something other than what you're doing. Raise your hand in this room if you have thought about something. You've looked up here and it looks like your eyeballs are on me, but you thought about something else. Yeah, the rest of you are not telling the truth. Liars. Get them out of here. They're all lying. Our mind wanders a lot, it turns out. Now look at these activities. Right over here, taking a shower, doing our hair, 67% of the time we're thinking about something else. Commuting, when you're driving, are you thinking about driving? No, you're not. And your car just gets here and you're like, oh, wow, what happened? Yeah, listening to music, housework. Yeah, don't show your bosses this one. I'm working, I promise, I'm working. Yeah, you're not. 50% of the time. Shopping, taking care of kids, reading, eating, exercising, and making love. What the heck? 10% of the time. Yeah, don't show that one to anybody. But our mind wanders a lot. So this meditation, this mindfulness of being in the moment with whatever you're doing. Now some of this is okay because a lot of creativity happens when our minds can wander. We can listen to other things. RACs, one of my favorites, random acts of kindness. Random acts of kindness. In fact, Martin Seligman said, of all the studies they've done, 40 years worth of all these little experiments with people, they found this, quote, the single most reliable momentary increase in well-being is an act of kindness. Is an act of kindness. Of all the things that they've done, if you want to boost happiness fastest, you do something kind for someone else. Because what it does, it has the double benefit. The recipient is happy, and the person who does the kindness is happy as well. So it's this double dose, because we get happy from making others happy. We even do that with pets. Isn't that sick? Like my dog tonight, when I come home and I'll just rub him and he'll give him a belly rub, and I get happy making him happy. And when I start thinking about it, I'm like, okay, I'm done, buddy. Yeah, that's weird. I get this high, this little boost of doing something kind for someone else. Okay, staying alive. These are some interesting area on this and this one. They've done some meta-analysis. Julianne Holt, she's actually BYU, 2 meta-analyses on these areas of what predicts longevity, how long we're going to live in this life. Clean air, not big. You know, we think about the inversion, okay, to a degree. Hypertension treatment for hypertension. Yep, lean versus overweight, so body mass index. We get that one, that's a little more predictive. Exercise. Now, this one I've actually gone back and looked at some other studies because I questioned that one and I was right. They used a 2003 study on this one. So now they have much better ways of tracking exercise. Exercise is actually way down on the other end. Yeah, real exercise, not mental exercise. I don't know if they've done a study on that yet. Cardiac rehab, flu vaccine. How you got your flu vaccine? You're like, oh, check, ding. Yeah, I'm not as likely to die here soon. Quitting drinking, quitting smoking. How many of you have done that? Man, now you guys are living a long time. Here we go. Close relationships, the quality of your close relationships. Huge predictor of how long and how well you're going to live in this life. What's number one? Turns out, quitting Fortnite is number... No, it's not. Social integration. So that ability, it's the people that you're around. So close relationship is more kind of my sweetie, those that are close families, those that I see every day, close. The social integration, those people that you meet at the grocery store, at the office, as you're walking by, having a supportive boss and an environment, show this to them and say, hey, I need some more support. You're killing me here, right? You're killing me here. Social integration, being able to integrate with the people around you. Some people are, I'm just not a people person. You'll learn to turn outward, at least appreciate those people. Send them a text then if you don't want to talk to them. Send them a text before 10 a.m. Isn't that interesting? The research continues. If you wanted a great TED Talk, this one by Robert Waldinger. So he manages that Harvard study, the longest study now on happiness and well-being. Says overwhelmingly, what makes a good life and predicts longevity is the quality of your close personal relationships. Dr. Dean Ornish, he says he knows of no other factor, not diet, not smoking, not exercise, stress, genetics, drugs, surgery, that has such a major impact on quality of life, incidence of illness, and premature death from all causes. It doesn't mean that those don't matter, but what they're finding is that when your relationships are not well, it affects your entire life, your body, your stress, all these other things that are going on. So social, close relationships, and what do we learn? Happy people make for better, close, happy relationships. So here's Dave's faves. Here are some of my favorite books right now in this area. Now I included Upward Spiral just recently. I read that one, the best book that I've ever read on anxiety and depression, hands down. It is awesome. I just bought 5 more, right? I can prove it over here. About 5 more. Because then I will give it away to people who are struggling in their life. And I say, man, this book, it's amazing. Blinkist, have you heard of Blinkist? Blinkist, you got to download this app. It's like $4 per month. It's cheaper than Audible. But what it is it gives you the 15-minute version of over 3,000 books. They're continuing to upload, and then they're like on leadership, happiness, parenting, marriage, business. So these type of books, and they're adding. So this app, I listened to 11 books the other day, going down to St. George. 11 books. I listened to 3 books a day, one on the way to work, one on the elliptical, and one on the way home. I can listen to 3 books, the 15-minute version of the book. And if I really like it, then I buy it. I send it to Leslie and say, hey, yeah, here's another book I want. So great books. Another great one I just got, How to Be Happy at Work. Yeah, get that one. Annie McKee, great, good stuff. Give it to your boss if he's ornery. Yeah, great little gift. And ask them to give one to everybody. So How to Be Happy at Work by Annie McKee is another great one. Here are some apps and podcasts, more Dave's faves that I really enjoy, that I like. You see the 5-minute journal down there. Happify. Happify is a great one about little things you can do, little exercise, little happy hacks. These are all research-based ones. So these were developed by scholars and researchers in the area. Headspace and Calm for meditation. And some podcasts I love. Live Happy Now. I love that podcast. It's just all about, there's gratitude or kindness, and it gives the interview kind of the best of the best scholars in these areas. So I love to be able to take advantage of the technology and what we have these days. And in essence, really my message is what? People like happy people. They really do. People like happy people, and happy people have better relationships with their kiddos, with others around the office and the area. So I'll leave you with some motivating words from my 8-year-old daughter. Have you ever had that day when you can't get your kids to bed fast enough? Do you remember back for some of those? It's one of those days. I'm in Missouri. My kids are young. My 7-year-old daughter, I'm like, all right, stay in your beds. Stay in your beds. Don't come out. And what do? They keep coming out. I mean it. You got to stay in your beds or I'm going to, right? All these threats. Go back to my room, and I'm like hyperventilating. What am I going to do? This is so hard. 5 minutes later, I hear. I'm like, oh, I'm going to let them have it. I hear something on my door, and then I bark, get back to your room. I open the door, and there's a note. There's a note from my 7-year-old daughter. And this is a picture of the actual note that she wrote. And it says, you can't see it very good, so I'll read it. Thanks a lot. I know it can be hard being a mom or dad, but you got to stick with it. I thought, oh my gosh, that was so, the kids totally called me out, right? You're supposed to be happy, Dad. And then on the back, it says, look on the back, and on the back it says, don't worry, we still love you. Oh my gosh. Dad, we blow it. With a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about, we have to stick with it. We have to stick with it with the 21 days, and I'm going to try to become more kind. You practice kindness. More patience, practice patience, right? Whatever it is. If you want to become that, then you practice that over and over and over, and you'll be happier. Thank you.